What's going on, everyone? Got to update the board here. Oh, I already did. We have sold both Milky Way and Jawbreaker. I was at the post office dropping off Jawbreaker and got the notification for the Galaxy build selling as well, right off of eBay. Getting close to the bottom. Added a whole nother side here with question marks of all kinds of stuff. But today, we've got some client builds to work on. Hopefully this one shows up on YouTube pretty soon. If not already by the time this video is up. We've got Cinnamoroll, Nintendo Wii, and an Xbox 360. We're not going to reveal that just yet. So we've got our Nintendo Wii going on over here, and our Xbox going on over here. Now we are going to deal with this Nintendo Wii first, but to get things started, get a little taste of the paint on the Xbox, we're going to start with the controller there because I think I should have all the parts I need. And by the way, they wanted a mostly black with red accent main paint job, no matter which character I picked. And as I said, we're not going to reveal that in this video. They kind of want it to be a surprise, but we will show it in the final reveal. So anyway, wanted to paint a back piece. I didn't just want to put an OEM on that, so I painted this and ended up loving it so much. It's basically like a reverse blood drip situation. And as you can see with the lights off, it just, you can't really see any of that cool detail. It's just a glossy maroon black, and then boom. Very cool. But I like this so much that I ended up painting another front piece to match that. And we actually ended up using one of those with the fancy D-pad. So that's what he's going to get. And then we also have a set of clear buttons and some black clear analog sticks. I'm going to try to add some LEDs. I unfortunately got the wrong ones. It took forever to get them. So I'm going to see what LEDs I have. This board here, which I think I'm going to be using, already has clear red triggers. I'm back and forth on using black. I've got black chrome or red. Let's see, like this, or clear red. Only reason I'd use the clear is for the LEDs, otherwise I'm not really a fan of the clear red with this stuff, but I gotta figure that out. Not really the final assembly here, but still deciding on a couple things. I do want to keep the clear bumpers with all the clear buttons up front. I did put that bullet button in the middle from the Grand Theft Auto controller. I wasn't planning on keeping that, but I just wanted that instead of the regular one. I wanted to put the black one on there from the Galaxy build, and I meant to do that before listing it and put a purple chrome one on that controller, but oh well. Don't really plan on buying an entire new button set just for the center button, but we'll see what happens. The translucent black thumbsticks look great, and I did have a set of ring lights that I thought were red, but turns out they're purple. Back and forth on the front bezel with the chrome red or just black. Do like just the black accent. Cinnamoroll, Nintendo Wii, unless they meant like Cinnabon. A little too late. Anyway, we got a clear shell for it. It's gonna be a little more basic build. Well, I don't want to say that. It feels like less work because it's a third the size of a 360, and I've just been going crazy on those. But we're gonna start off by, obviously we started tearing this apart so I could get stuff painted. This is the back metal shielding, and I know on the clear chrome green Wii we just left this off so you could see the motherboard through the back, but I don't want green on this. We're looking for mostly blues, pinks, and white. So I painted this back piece. Let's see if we can get some sparkles on there. There you go. And I should keep in mind all the painted stuff we're seeing today has been sitting and curing for a while. It still needs a final wipe down and some wet sanding on some of the stuff. But anyway, we want to finish getting the rest of this off this factory white shell here. Get this shield put on, put it in the bottom tray of the clear piece. We can start putting this back together. Everything in here is actually pretty clean. We're obviously Going to take the heatsink off, double check all that stuff. But everything else looked really clean. I cleaned up the disk drive. And then over here you can see we've got this shield that goes over the disk drive, which again, some people will either totally leave this off, which it sort of acts as a spacer on part of the shell, so it might fit a little wonky without it. But then you can see this here, but I definitely don't want to. I don't like painting inside of disk drive type of thing. We could take all of this completely apart and paint like this piece, but I actually really like the way this is like corrugated. And as we saw on my clear red Wii, I left this piece on, and I just thought it looked really good. And anyway, it's going to be kind of a background because we do have decals going in the outer part of the shell. And anyway, this side's going to be this metallic blue. This is one of the only paints that seemed to actually work after an hour trip to Hobby Lobby. And then our fan shield there as well, and we're planning to add some blue LEDs, and I actually have some fading ones. We'll see if we can add a couple of those. Just got to add them single LEDs strategically around, hopefully underneath this. And then our top, right here, we painted with this pearl white, and we'll see this pearl white again in a build coming up. And I also add a little bit of flake to this one, but yeah, really cool pearl. And that's going to be the top. So we've got pink on one side, white on the top, as well as the front. Obviously the front has a lot of random stuff going on, but the main trim piece that goes behind the faceplate I also painted with the pearl white. This is just one decal here, whether we use it or not. I'll probably actually cut it and use these kind of separately. There are lots of other decals for this one that are not here yet. Okay, and I forgot, these don't actually have thermal paste, they got the pads. Honestly, it's probably like the 5th one I've taken apart. I still watch disassembly videos for these because there's just so many screws and they're all different. But anyway, everything looks really good here. Go ahead and give it a little clean. This shielding here is definitely dirty, we'll get that cleaned up. And then this is our piece here. That we don't need any of this because we have the painted shield and the clear piece. And we're going to start setting that stuff in there just so that we don't have too many things laying around. And then we do need to find a spot, 5 volts preferably, to hook up some LEDs. We do have a fan here and then the drive cable there. I'm leaning towards the fan. Right. Yeah, I like that. I think we're on the right track. I get nervous sometimes until I see things getting together. Cleaned up our heat sink, motherboard, shield, all that stuff. Starting to put stuff back together. And one thing I have always wished I could do was put one of those Ace fans in place of the Wii fan. Unfortunately, they went with a 30, I believe it's about a 30 millimeter fan instead of a 40. And obviously that wouldn't work. Now you could probably trim some stuff, but unfortunately the actual board itself would have to be trimmed, and I guess there's not much going on there, but that's not something I want to do. I do still want to try getting another one. I ordered this little 2-pack that should be 30 by 30. I think they're a little bit thinner, but they're clear with blue LEDs. I think that's going to help out. I do still want to add the other LEDs, the blinking ones, and we're going to have to obviously splice that other fan into this type of connector anyway. We'll run a couple more LEDs off of that. But I still want to get most of the stuff back in, one, so we don't have 15 different types of screws, even though I have them set the best I could to remember exactly where all of them go. But I want to get that stuff mostly in, that way we can also see what kind of spots we're working with that we can probably sneak some LEDs into. Now, obviously we can't finish this right this second because I need that fan. If it doesn't end up working, then I guess it'll be kind of a waste, but here's what we got so far. The blue, you can see the blue up top, even though we're going to have that white trim piece. Pink on the back. We do still have the plastic on here, obviously, not to scratch it up until we're done. Let's go ahead and knock out the faceplate real quick. Together, got our white piece there on the left side instead of the black one. It did come with clear buttons, but I wanted to put the white ones in there. I just think that looks better, especially with our matching our little theme there. And then I also reused the backing on the right side. That's a white backing that also has the felt on there. The one it comes with is just both clear and there's no like dust protection there. Now I still probably want to remove this, at the very least replace it, but I kind of want to see if they have some other material just in a different color. Same material but different color. Obviously pink or blue or something like that. But other than that, I think we are pretty much set on this one. Pretty easy swap without having to try to use those Talisman Wii gates. I think that's as far as we can go until we can get this in the mail. It's supposed to be 1 or 2 days shipping, so probably 3 days. And then wire in those LEDs like I said, and then we'll put the rest of the stuff on. I will test fit it really quick because I want to make sure what this looks like on the top there. It's all done and it's perfect. Doesn't line up perfect, but no, okay. We got pink over here, and then just as I imagined it, with the mostly white up front and the top, and then blue on the sides. So we kind of have blue, pink, divided by the white in the middle. And like I said, lots of decals coming in. We'll get to that. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Let me clean this up a little bit, set it aside, we can get that fan in. Let's see if we can do the controller for this real fast. Alright, they sent this with it. I don't know if they just wanted it cleaned up or painted to match or what we're doing, but obviously the battery cover, third party, and does not match. Not really a fan of trying to paint one of these, but I do have one of these in blue, and this is technically the third party one. It says Motion 2-in-1 instead of, oh well, that's not even Motion 2-in-1. So I'm hoping all the buttons should still be identical, and basically we're just going to take all the white buttons, put them in here. We also are going to throw this in the trash. This is not yellow, or not white anymore, it's definitely yellow. And I'm pretty sure I already ordered one. If not, I'll have to double check. They have little packs of, a battery cover and a strap. So we'll get that in either white or pink. And yeah, just get rid of these two things. But for the most part, these work. Now this is an original one, I guess, that doesn't have the Motion Plus, and this has built-in Motion Plus. And as I said, as far as third-party controllers, this is the best you're going to get for a Wii. On a good deal on a Rock Candy nunchuck. Also need to clean it up a little bit, especially whatever's going on the plug here. I thought it was like dried blood. That was not in the photos, but the controller itself looks great. We can just unscrew that little plastic piece and clean all that stuff up. But yeah, Rock Candy controller. So we've got all the colors we're using in the main system there. Okay, so it looks like pretty much identical. Wouldn't be surprised if it's literally the same manufacturer. Good news, all the buttons seem to be exactly the same, so I think we can just kind of interchange them a little bit. And I think the housing on the blue is better, and the buttons on this one's better. So we'll probably put the white buttons on the blue. Hey, I did spot a difference. That little notch at the top, no notch. It's probably to save money on plastic. Here we go. Just have one screw in each of these holding them together. Just wanted to test fit the buttons. Still go back and clean them up. And I guess we'll still include, obviously, the original controller. Now has the blue buttons. We'll see how much we can clean that one up. This one here, I have to say, I think the quality of this one's actually better on the inside, just a tiny bit. I couldn't swap the power buttons over because of that reason. This one just has lots of burrs on it. Which I could probably file down to fit, but I actually like it the way it is. Without this one being white, you have more of a symmetrical looking situation. But that looks really good. So all we need are the battery covers, some tails, and then of course we've got the nunchuck to go with it. Wait a minute. I guess this is also a third-party controller. Does it not always say Wii right here? Right? Now, I think it's time to start on that Xbox. As I said, I gotta do a little bit of wet sanding, and there is still decals going on there, but yeah, red, and then from here, gloss black. Anyway, we gotta actually tear this thing down. I haven't even opened it yet. I'm sure you'd be a little nervous if you knew I didn't open it yet, but we have most of the stuff taken care of. We just need to clean out the inside and get our parts installed and wire up some LEDs, and we definitely have some very cool little details we're going to add here. So our client had just bought this off of Etsy. RGH 1.2 Jasper, and I think I might know the listing it was from. Kind of had like a drop down menu of different options, like different grade levels, and this was the cheapest one. He thought it would come with a hard drive, it did not. And again, if it's the same listing I'm thinking of, it was a little confusing on that. But anyway, he said he's going to buy his own loaded hard drive to put in. We do have a hard drive shell we made for this, so we're going to at least throw a 20 gigabyte in there because I have a bunch of those as a placeholder. We should be able to at least load up like the basics on there. And there was a problem with the disk drive. Now, he did open it up himself to verify with me that it was a Jasper. Even though we could have looked at the back right here, but wanted to make sure it had the light on drive because I was already painting stuff before I even got this. And I did put a different hard drive in. It loaded right into Aurora, so everything seems good there. But I did notice this did absolutely nothing, and this center light there was flashing. So it must just be unplugged, or there's a serious problem with it. He said he did hear it making some noises, but I don't know. Let's go ahead and crack it open. Definitely C grade. I would give this at more like a D grade. Can at least get the sticker residue off, but hey, whatever. I'm sure the shell doesn't match what's on the inside. This says 2009, but who knows? It could be. I guess it's Jasper. Now you can see it is plugged in there. That seems good. But right here, you can see that cable is tweaked a little bit. So that's why it wasn't doing anything at all. Yeah. Alright, so obviously it needs a belt first. We'll do that, clean it out, then we'll try it, see what happens. Still not working. This is obviously a light on, and I have at least 2 more of those that we could swap the daughter board into. In the meantime, we're going to finish tearing this down, make sure everything's clean. It does look kind of dusty. Check out the thermal paste, and yeah, put everything back in. Ooh-wee. There was lots of clump inside the metal cage that borderline needed vacuuming out, but I dusted all that out. Good thing we took it apart because, oh my goodness, these poor chips. Let's get some fresh stuff on there, get these all cleaned off. Now, after getting dusted, everything does look really nice. Take dusty over grimy any day. But yeah, clearly this guy, I guess the C grade means he doesn't even take the heat sinks off. He just straight up takes it apart, installs a chip, flashes it, and then boom, out the door. The thing cleaned up really nicely. Got some new thermal paste on there, of course. Now, I didn't have plans to replace the fans in the back, but I do still have this cooler here. Unfortunately, this bearing is totally shot. I don't have any of the cables to make this work. It's supposed to daisy chain to a second cooler, but we put that one in the ruby red build. And basically, I'm going to use one of these. This came off the radiator from the Eyeball water-cooled 360, and it has 2 50mm noise blockers, which is the exact size for this one. And I'm not going to solder it onto this board. Like I said, I don't have the cable for this. We're just going to use basically this as a mount to get our fan in the same spot. We're just going to use a better fan and have it hooked up. I think even on 12 volts, those are totally silent. If not, we'll go to 5. Our fan and fan tunnel in place. We got this guy in place. I hooked it up to 12 volts real quick, and it is dead silent. We're just definitely going to leave it on 12. We're going to use this DVD cable that actually came out of the Wavy Tube Man build. Already has a 3-pin 12-volt cable on there, so we're going to make sure that works. We got to ring a light in, and I took this apart, and I was going to say that I thought it would be worse, but now, especially with the light on there, holy moly, the sides. We're going to definitely clean that out, possibly even have to re-grease some stuff in there. See if we can get the bottom piece off. And then, it's not really too bad, it's really just the sides. But yeah, there's definitely some clumps in there as well. Get that all cleaned out, and I already have another belt that looks really good, so I'm just going to swap that one in, and we'll see if that works. Alright, got the rails cleaned out, and I put this band in here, and I really thought the other one felt pretty good, but wow, this one... If this doesn't open it, then we'll have to try a different disk drive. So let's try this out real quick. We'll put the regular shell back on. Let's fire this thing up real quick. Alright. Oh no. I'm just kidding. I've got a red ring light for him. Alright, let's see if this opens up. It looks like you have to push it a little bit harder. Oh, there you go. Seems pretty solid. I think we're going to move forward with that. Now, I already have a decal on the DVD drive shell. I'm going to put that on and not show that just now. But next up, we need to put some white LED strips, just like we did in the Jawbreaker 360. We're going to do the exact same thing. White strips on each side. And we have this 3-pin here that's 12 volts. We'll just make a splitter so that the, and this is paint, don't worry, for the fan and the LEDs. Got the wiring done. I ended up splicing in 2 3-pin receiver plugs from that DVD drive cable we had. One for the fan 3-pin that is underneath here, and then one for our LED strip. And I went ahead and just did, instead of like on Jawbreaker, all along here, and then I had to deal with a little bit of light diffusion, at least at the very top, to show through those holes in the top of the shell, very bright through there. So instead I've got a strip here, and then we snake around, and a short strip right there. I think this stuff is bright enough that that's going to be plenty. And the shell goes here, and it blocks here, so we shouldn't have to worry about it being bright, seeing from the very top. And just look at that. Let me explain this paint a little bit. So I was going just full gloss black on this whole thing, but I don't know, I wanted to spice it up a little bit. And same thing on, you'll see Transformer build over there, Barricade, Bumblebee. I kind of experimented more with the inside parts, especially on ones that you aren't going to see very well, that might have like a frosted window. And then if I liked how that was going, I would kind of transfer that to the outer shell. And basically, let's see, this is going to be so hard to get on camera, I hope you can really see it. But basically it looks gloss black, and the closer you get, all of a sudden it's like a maroon, and I sort of explained this before, but basically there's like a gloss black, and then we did the misting of a regular red around the edges of stuff, and then we went over absolutely everything with the anodized red just over and over, and I realized it doesn't really show up on the gloss black, so I kept having to mist a little bit more of that red, just a little bit, and the anodized red also turned all of that colorful flake from that one clear coat stuff I like to use. It just turned all the flakes into red. And it's so cool. When we get the shell on, obviously we're going to have some beauty shots, but we won't get the regular shell on right now. We're probably going to use another one until I get those last few decals in so I can actually do the windows and stuff. But anyway, let's turn this on and see what these LEDs look like. Okay, fingers crossed for no fires. Oh yeah, that's going to be perfect. Fan going there. Yeah, so we're going to have a clear window on this one, that's the plan, and then the dark tinted acrylic over top. So it hopefully kind of blends in with the gloss black, and then when it's turned on, you'll see all the goodies on the inside. Now speaking of, we got something fun we're going to do. Wow, that's bright from this side. That we're going to do, I might actually have to think about that one. Anyway, let's test this one more time. Hey. So I did paint an eject button, of course, to match the bezel that's on here. Let's see if we can gloss black and red. Now, like I said, I had an eject button that worked, but I didn't expect to get this part back. I totally forgot it was on the Wavy Tube Man build, and it actually had the ghost black, like smoke clear eject button that's from the shell that would be on Vader, the smoke clear. And I think instead I'm going to drill a hole right here, and we're going to put a little LED and actually make use of that ghost case eject button. We're going to hook them up with it. Should be a really cool thing. Now, I tried the acrylic on the Jawbreaker build. That was sort of a test, so we're going to use that on this one. This is going to be sort of a test because I want to do the same thing with some other builds that we have in the room. So I honestly think this is where we're going to stop for this video, because I've got to add some decals that will reveal the actual theme that we've picked here, and I need to do a little bit more finishing sanding on some of these panels, and then get the holes drilled here, holes drilled for our acrylic, And like I said, I'm still waiting on a couple other decals for this one and the Wii, so we can get those to the actual finishing line. So the next video on these will be adding the little finishing details, the windows, just like we did on the last Jawbreaker video, and firing it up. Cool thing about this faceplate here, other than of course that paint job and that hair there, I mean, it's just so cool. It looks gloss black. You come over here, it's like this blood red. There's like a little bit of metal flake in there. Anyway, I also randomly painted the ring red, even though we already have a red ring of light. Just thought it was fun. But this power button here, this is another one I've kind of held on to for a long time. As you know, we put that blue one in the Jawbreaker one that I've been hanging on to, and it finally worked out great. I thought this one worked out awesome. Boy, there's a lot of dust on there right now. This is from the Grand Theft Auto 4 faceplate. And I actually sold that system for what, a couple $100 a couple of years ago that had the faceplate on it, and I replaced it with chrome. People are selling that faceplate now for like over $200, which is crazy. But yeah, let's just ignore the dust for now. These things have been sitting up here. We got to give it a final wipe down. But yeah, cool little feature there. He's got this little cool little feature. The XCM fan, sort of, at least the mount for it. Lots of cool stuff. Now, last thing, we've got our vents here with the blood splatter. You know I had to add the blood splatter. I already explained what we're doing the hard drive internal-wise, but we're obviously not going to have this metal shield here. I do want to do a frosted window. I actually want to see if I can use the anodized red to tint the windows red. I don't know why I just said that. I have a whole stack of acrylics that I got as a sample. We're going to go ahead and try cutting the red one and make a window for this here. We'll add probably one of those blinking red LEDs, and yeah, that should be pretty much it for the hard drive. And I haven't decided if I want to try the blinking red LED here or just a regular one. We're going to have to see which one is not too bright, because I don't want that to be obnoxious, just kind of a cool detail. And our Nintendo Wii. Let me know what you guys think about these so far. I can't wait to finish these up. These were a lot of brainstorming, trying to figure this stuff out. Both of these themes I didn't have a lot of knowledge with. Luckily, my wife watches some of this stuff, so she helped me out quite a bit. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for our Transformer Duo builds. We got this awesome XSPC ion reservoir, and this one actually has the built-in pump that we're going to be using for our liquid metal build. Hopefully the reservoir shows up very soon for this build for Mr. JR, so that we can get a shell started and painted on that one and get that one thrown together. It should be, I'm hoping to make it as clean as the liquid metal build as I can, even though I haven't started that yet. I know you don't know what I'm talking about. It's all in my head. Thanks for watching. Please don't like, comment, or subscribe.